Aloha and welcome everyone. My name is Joe Wilson and I'm here with my partner in life and community activism, Dean Hamer. We're the directors of the Lei Pua'ala Queer Histories of Hawaiʻi project, which is an effort that has been researching, talking story with people throughout our community in order to document, lift up, and most importantly, commemorate on the landscape of our community the stories and the histories of our community, people across the spectrum of gender and sexual diversity. We're so excited to see such an incredible cross-section of our community here with us today. So I'm going to kind of serve as the informal MC and bring up a few special guests and speakers that are going to talk about the importance of the history of this site. And then we're going to do a really amazing blessing at the end. So the first person that I want to mention, well, first I want to recognize in the audience with us today are many of the people that were the originals here at Queen Surf in the 1970s, and you're going to hear from them in a few moments. But first, Dean Hamer is going to give a little bit of the history and the background as to why we're putting a plaque in this particular site.
Thanks, Jeff. Aloha, everybody. It's wonderful to be here on this beautiful Waikīkī afternoon. You know, Waikīkī Beach has always been a very important place in Hawaiian history. Hawaiians knew this area of Waikīkī as Kaneloa, and it was the site of many chiefly residences and also the site of several important heiau. By the early 1900s, Waikīkī had changed from what was an agricultural area to a very important tourist zone, and also the region where there were many fancy residences. And early on during that period, at just about this site right here, was built a really fancy, beautiful, elegant mansion financed by a wealthy industrialist from the Midwest. And it remained that way up till World War II, when it was converted to a rest home for soldiers and also a meeting place. Roosevelt came here and met with the World War II troops. And then shortly after the war, it was converted to a commercial space, and it became perhaps the most elegant, the most wonderful restaurant and bar in all of Honolulu. Even the mayor remembers those days and all of the elegant entertainers that were there, including the Hula cop Mossman, who you're going to hear more about in just a little bit. After the war, the mayor, Fossey, decided that there should be more public access to the ocean and less private areas. And so he condemned the restaurant, and in 1972, this became the beautiful public park, Queen Surf Beach, that you see today. Now, 1972 was an important year in our queer history, because that is the year that the state of Hawaii changed the criminal code and removed the law against sodomy that had been in place since 1840. So for the first time in over a century, it was legal to be gay. That was a big change in the law. Now, whether or not this became such a popular gay beach, and for our community, whether that was because of the name, Queen Surf, or just a happy coincidence, we probably will never know. But at any rate, it became a really wonderful gathering place. And what we've enjoyed from talking story with some of the Kupuna who were around in those days is how it was a place for everybody. So there were lots of local folks from town, but also from Waianae and Waimanola. It was a place where a lot of visitors came, whether they were from San Francisco or from LA or from the Midwest or from all around the world. And it was a place where young people could go, because it wasn't a bar, you didn't have to show an ID, and it's a place where older folks could go, because you could come during the day and picnic and talk story and do all of that. And we've heard these stories and seen some of the wonderful pictures that are preserved, two of which are on the plaque there, showing all the activities that were here. It was a big volleyball place. We have one or two of the stars from that time still are around. This was where the Queens played. Over there was where the Straights played, but sometimes they'd come together, and you can guess who usually won. It was also a place for Hawaiian activities like hula dancing and for lei making. And people say, oh, you know, the guys from LA and San Francisco, they'd sit on the sand over there and do sun tanning. And the locals would sit on the grass where it was nice and clean. But there was also a lot of mingling and a lot of making of new friends and a lot of meeting one another. So that is the history of this area that we thought was worth representing. The beach in the 90s started to be less frequently used. First, of course, there was the AIDS epidemic that swept through Hawaii with great tragedy, as it did every place. And then more recently, there's the fact that our community now can go to any beach and not have to worry about discrimination. So less, perhaps, reason to come. But as you're going to hear shortly, there's a new movement, there's a new generation, there are young people who are reviving this site. I just want to add that this is also the first site of organized LGBT resistance in Hawaii. And in 1974, the first gay march ever in Hawaii was about 25 bold people who walked through Waikīkī and then came here for a picnic. And that lasted for many years. And we're so excited that this is once again becoming an area where people gather together, communicate, and organize. So thank you all for being here, and I'll turn it back to Joe.
I want to take just a brief second to recognize and acknowledge the unexpected guests we have in the park with us today. And in a way, I think it's very fitting, because the work of the Lepua'ala Project is aimed at doing two things. One, creating opportunities for people of our community to be able to see ourselves reflected positively in our communities, particularly on our public spaces. The second purpose is to create windows, opportunities for everyone, including our friends who are with us today over there, for them to see us in our fullness, the fullness of our humanity. Because when people see us and understand us and learn about us, or maybe take the time to engage constructively with us, we have a chance to do something even more meaningful together. So I'm glad they're here today, but I also think it's reflective of what people across the Māhū LGBT communities experience on a daily basis, have for a long time, usually unseen by most people around us. People who think we don't belong, think we don't have the right to participate in our communities, think we're trotting a wrong path. Learning how to live, to strive, to thrive, and be successful when many people around you are constantly trying to create obstacles is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But it speaks to the next person that I want to bring to the podium and the organization that he represents, many of whom are here in the audience today, board and staff. So Randy Soriano is the executive director of the Hawaii LGBT Legacy Foundation, and many of the board members, I think, are here in the audience today. So I want to invite Randy to speak a little bit about what the Legacy Foundation does, and also to thank you and all of the people involved in the Legacy Foundation's work for being a partner in all of the work that we're all trying to do together, which is lift up and support our communities. Thanks, Randy.
Aloha. Aloha. Well, happy Pride. I actually have a speech, but Joe started on this conversation, and I wanted to just touch upon like a personal story, just because I, as a little bakla boy, like in my early 20s, trying to figure out my own sexuality, this park and this specific area meant so much to me, because I used my journey through volleyball to like really understand who how my queerness identified myself. So this specific area just means so much to me. So, and I love our friends over there, because we have a little Pride soundtrack as we do our speeches. So thank you so much for putting on the soundtrack while we have our little speeches. Let's give them a round of applause for the amazing music that we have. First of all, I want to thank Mayor Rick Blangiardi and the team at the city and county, they have been amazing partners throughout the many years as we have grown this foundation and Honolulu Pride. And we could not have done a lot of the work without the support of the city, so mahalo. We want to also thank Dean and Joe. They have been amazing partners throughout this process. Telling our stories is so important, and having both of them advocate for that throughout this process and really sharing these stories, because knowledge transfer is so important for us. So mahalo Dean and Joe and their team. So let's give them a round of applause as well. So similar to what I shared with you guys, Queen's Surf and Kapilani Park has been a beacon for queer and Māhū people for many, many, many generations. And today we are here to enshrine that with this amazing monumental plaque. And, you know, we have this group of amazing kupuna who have created this space for us. And I want to thank all of them for really paving the way for just queer people and Māhū people in general. As Joe mentioned, the Hawaiʻi LGBT Legacy Foundation has created a new movement called the Māhū. And this is our attempt to really do knowledge transfer and honor those who came before us. When you guys look at this plaque later, you're going to see these pictures of all of our kupuna back in their heyday in the 70s and 80s, just living it up in this space, you know, and creating that safe environment for them. Every year for the last 3 years, we've actually brought our Māhū to this space, and we kick off Pride Month in October here in this space with a community picnic and awa ceremony. And I had this conversation with a few of our kupuna and Joe and Dean, is as we were going through the pictures from the last few years, literally, there is one picture in particular with this new Māhū group that looks identical to this group here, and it's just like this magical movement. And I'm so excited. You know, during I think we had this conversation as well, and it's just so beautiful to see that. And I think that it's so profound that we're all here in this moment to ensure that we can create that safe space for our community. I want to invite all of you guys after this program. We're going to have a community picnic right behind you folks, and we're going to also do a community awa ceremony. So please stay. You guys can get a little preview of our opening ceremony for Honolulu Pride. If you aren't able to stay, please join us in October. That event is always the first weekend of Honolulu Pride Month in October. I want to just end by thanking all of you folks. Being here in this moment is important. We all... Now more than ever, we need to really enshrine our history, but also create hope and resilience for the future. So all of you guys have a pivotal role in that. So mahalo.
Thank you, Randy. So it's been mentioned a couple times, the important folks that are here, we're calling them Kupuna. I'm not sure if you think about yourselves in that way, but we are so honored because as we've been collecting stories to commemorate the place, it's really the stories and the people that are important. In this case, we were so honored to sit and talk with folks like Puake Nogelmeyer, like Bill Charr, Jareen Jeffries, and so many others, Sina Sasson, who couldn't be here today. But you guys were here in the 70s. We know times are difficult now, times are always difficult. They were particularly difficult then. And really this, to me, is about, because in those years, as difficult as they were, you lived your lives freely, openly, and creatively in the most public of spaces in Honolulu. I mean, it's just such a beautiful example of what it means to be your authentic selves. And because you did what you did, and the community that you built, you made it possible for so many of us who are coming after you to live freely too, and to dream even bigger. So right now, I want to invite two of those people who have shared their stories with us to the podium to say a few words. Jareen Jeffries, amazing kupuna here in our community. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Jareen, were you one of the original Miss Queen's Surf pageant winners? No. But you were many other titles.
That was my sister.
And Bill Charr, would you please come and share a few words with Jareen? Thank you. If you don't yet know Bill Char, he's many things, but this year he became a living treasure of Hawaii because he's a master laymaker. Thanks, Bill.
Hi, Dad. Hi. Aloha and happy Pride, everyone.
It's funny because when they were talking about doing this, I started to remember all the people that used to come down. And if you look at this picture, I'm the guy with the fuzzy hair. And that was taken in the 70s. I remember Ma or Lalage and Edward Kalani and Gramps and Randy Wayne Chang. And they all would come down and they would put up the net. Then when Lalage decided that she didn't want to do it anymore, Kalani Kai them started to bring the net down. And it's interesting how many people used to come down here. There used to be teams that you would have to wait to get on. And it was, if you won, you stayed on the court until you got tired. And when you got tired, you got off. But to get back on, you'd have to form another team. And it was like, you would have to wait and wait and wait. So some of us would go down to natatorium to play volleyball and then come back and see if the court opened up a little bit. So it was great. It was really a fabulous time to be down here. And the people, so many of them, I can't even fathom how many people have come and gone through here. A lot of them were like from Waianae, like Little Joe and Tetu and everybody else. They would come down. They would play music. They would be riding in the back of the truck and playing music all the way down. They thought they were in a parade. But they enjoyed themselves. This was a place to enjoy yourself. I remember the first Miss Queen Surf. The first Miss Queen Surf was actually Libra Love. Yep. And then it happened for I don't know how many years. And finally, Edward Kalani decided to build a stage. And from here all the way back was people. We didn't say anything that there was a pageant going on or anything, but there was people from crowds of people just came, and it was so magical. So, and Jareen's going to talk now. Come on, Jareen.
Thank you, Vilchar. I actually wrote a speech. I hope I can read it. But well, let me introduce myself. As everybody knows, I am Jareen Jeffries. I'm also a member of the Imperial Sovereign Court of Hawaii and also an heir apparent to the International Court Council. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Dean Hammer and Joe Wilson of the Lepua Ala project. I mean, this project has been such a wonderful, wonderful project. They have done so many good things for us. I'm nervous. I also like to thank the Legacy Foundation, the City and County of Honolulu, Mayor Rick Blangiardi, and State Representative Adrian Tam for your unwavering support and assistance in helping us build this monument to honor our LGBTQ plus Māhū community. We are also grateful for this recognized as one of the many other gathering places known to our community. I, for myself, as I was coming out, this was a very place where I could be myself and let go amongst others like myself. The friendships that I had acquired in the times where I wanted to be, where I was able to express and share stories of what we did last night at the clubs, our personal stories, daily activities is what we all had in common. We would play volleyball, practice hula, and even had our beach pageants, as Bill Char mentioned. Those were the good old days. We hung out till night's end and just enjoyed time together. This is what we was about, ohana. This is how some of us who were shunned by family members or wasn't living stable life was able to become a part of an extended family. Oh, I guess that was the end of my speech. Sorry. But thank you, everybody. Thank you again, Mayor Blangiardi, Joe Wilson, Dean Hammer, and everybody here in attendance. I mean, this means so much to us, our community. Mahalo.
And she was there on Hotel Street at the Glades.
Yes, I am a former maintenance person at the Glazed Cocktail Show Lounge, and also the tape person. Thank you.
Okay. Now you understand why these people deserve to be honored. So next, I want to bring to the podium someone who really made this project special for us. So when we were talking with folks in the community, thinking about how it would and should be marked, it's a tough question, right? What's the right symbol for a place like this? And a lot of people mentioned a stone feels right for this place. And then we thought, well, how do we find the right stone? Because it has to have the right meaning. So we went to Miley Meyer, who many of you in the community, I'm sure, know, had a long conversation with her, and she said, once you start putting it out there, the stone will find you. And sure enough, it did. And it found us in the form of somebody who lives in our neighborhood of Oahu, up on the North Shore, a stonemason named Keone Mossman. And Keone and his family have also a wonderful association with Queen Surf. And I want to invite Keone to the podium now to share a little bit about his work with the plaque and the stone and his family's connection to Queen Surf. Thanks for being here today, Keone.
Aloha! I wanted to thank Joe and Dean so much for the opportunity to be here and to be involved in this project. I got a phone call, and when they told me what it was they were looking to do, I so excited at the opportunity, because at a time when it seems like there's so much division going on, being able to participate in something that will unite people and bring about some clarity with all of us here trying to make the same struggle to be able to live and exist and just get through this thing called life. So it's been a wonderful journey working with them on this. A little closer. Okay. And I after trial of going through many rocks and sending them the photos, this one was the one that spoke and said that it wanted to be here, and we found its good side. Much like all of us, we all have our good sides, and this one is the front of the good side of it. So just really happy to be part of it. And then we found out about the connection about my uncle Sterling Mossman, who used to be here at the Barefoot Bar back in the day, the singing cop. He was also a city and county, working by day as a cop, and then at night entertaining everybody here in Waikīkī. So it was just one of those coincidences and things that came together for the whole process that we were just really thrilled and happy to be a part of, and thank all of you. This is my son Kaniala, my son Kaimana, and my wife Dania.
Aloha, everyone. I just wanted to let you all know how honored we are to be chosen to pick the Pohaku for this place, and how honored we are to have the opportunity to be here in support of the LGBTQ community.
I want to thank the 3 comedians in the back. That's why we're here.
Mahalo, Keone and Dania and family. I don't need to tell anybody here the importance of the political moment we're in. and what many people of our communities who are not in Hawaii, perhaps in cities and states on the continent, are facing. They're organizing like we are, but they're often being opposed by the very governments that are supposed to represent them. Their rights are being taken away. Official acts are being made to erase people from the landscape of their own communities. We are so fortunate here that not only are most of our public officials not doing that, but they're working in partnership with us. I'm so happy to introduce, well, there's two people that are going to speak. First, Representative Adrian Tam in the state legislature. This is his district, and Adrian, thanks so much for all you do representing us in the state legislature and for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Aloha mai kakoa and aloha. It is an honor to be here to celebrate the chiseling of this amazing stone to tell our amazing history. As the tourism chair of the House, I oftentimes emphasize that not only do our visitors have to enjoy our beaches and our hikes, but they also have to learn our culture and our history so they can take it back and spread who we are and what we are all about. So thank you so much. There's so many people I have to thank. I want to thank our Kupuna here, our seat in county. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much for this. And I also want to take this time to talk about why I decided to start the Equality Caucus, why I am open about who I am, and it is because of the people that came before me, our Kupuna. They inspired me as a little boy who's in the closet, who's trying to figure himself out and scared of what's out there and the judgment and discrimination that comes with it. But they gave me the courage to live my truth and to fight for what's right. And I also recognize the importance of that because I currently serve in a state house that once had individuals that didn't believe I had the right to marry or even exist. I want to keep my remarks short, but I want to close. I was trying to figure out how to do this with grace. But I want to thank our haters. I really want to thank our haters. You know, they really think that they can come to all of our events and call us an abomination and we'll just stand down. But every time they show up, they never miss a gay event, and our next gay events always get bigger and bigger and bigger. So thank you so much for your recruitment and for your advertising and for making us known. The real abomination is hate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Representative Tam. Now I really have a great honor in introducing Mayor Blangiardi. So when we started this project, the Lepo'ala Queer Histories of Hawaii project, we didn't really know what kind of reception we were going to get when we went to knock on public officials' doors to say, our community matters. We need to be seen. We want some of the properties that you have the responsibility in Kuleana for taking care of to help reflect our stories. And I have to say, from day one, Mayor, you have always been a partner in this with us, and we really appreciate it, you know, beyond what I can say here at this podium today. So I just want to invite you to the podium to share in this celebration of our community with us and to thank you for your support.
Well, what an introduction. Good afternoon and aloha. I don't know if I'm going to be able to match Adrian's eloquence. I really love what you had to say, and I've known him since he was a lot younger. For that matter, Keone, I have to tell you, not that I'm an expert in stones, but this is incredible. I don't think we could have gone anywhere and got anything better than that with the plaque. This is unbelievable, you know? And to Jareen and Bill and Randy and Joe and Dean, I mean, they've already said everything that one could say, so I come here today with a proclamation, but suffice to say, and I hope that maybe it came across in the introduction, I only want to say we're supportive. We're doing everything we possibly can on every level to demonstrate that and celebrate who we are as a people. So I want to read this proclamation. It only takes about a minute and a half. and that'll be sort of it. But I just want to tell you, I'm very proud of you guys. I'm proud of the courage you have, courage of your convictions, determination. We started off in the other part of Waikīkī. This is our second one in Waikīkī. More to come. And by the way, I guess I am a Kupuna. Every time I've heard the word today, since it was already mentioned as I come up on my 79th birthday, I do remember the old Queen Surf when Kui Lee was playing here, and this beach was really a very special place. So that said, I get the privilege as mayor to say, whereas Pride Month is celebrated every June around the world to demonstrate our support and appreciation for our LGBTQ Māhū communities, to recognize their immeasurable contributions to our society and culture, and to acknowledge the struggles and obstacles they have overcome through unwavering perseverance and bravery. And whereas Hawaii has been and will forever continue to be a supportive, welcoming, and loving place for all residents and visitors alike, regardless of their sexuality, gender, ethnicity, age, religion, nationality, or any other defining traits, because we recognize that each person living the best and true version of themselves is what makes our community strong, beautiful, and unique. And whereas Queen Surf Beach has played a prominent and crucial role in the history of the LGBTQ Māhū community on Oahu by serving as a gathering place where people can simply be themselves openly and proudly while taking part in a variety of activities, including hula, lei making, volleyball, and roller skating. And whereas Queen Surf Beach was the site of Hawaii's first organized LGBTQ plus Māhū events, beginning with a celebration of Pride Parade through Waikīkī in June of 1974 to be memorialized on that plaque. And whereas we also acknowledge the beach's historical context as a place of fertile wetlands, fish ponds, sacred heiau, and chiefly residences before it became an estate, and then a rest home for World War II pilots, and later the location of the popular Queen Surf restaurant and Barefoot Bar. Having said all that, now therefore I, Rick Blangiardi, Mayor of the City and County of Honolulu, do hereby proclaim June 2025 to be Pride Month in the City and County of Honolulu, as we gather at the beautiful and world-renowned Queen Surf Beach to permanently mark this location's rightful place in the vital history of our LGBTQ plus Māhū communities, and as we stand together proudly to honor the courage and the contributions of everyone who makes our beloved island home such a wonderful and vibrant place to live, work, and play. And so while today much has been said about history past, thank you for being here today and being part of this historical moment. God bless you all.
So now you understand what I was talking about. Thank you, Mayor Blangiardi, and to your whole team. You have been incredible supporters to us every step of the way. So now we're at the moment where we get to dedicate this Pohaku in our own way. We couldn't be more fortunate to have somebody who, back in the day, was a young twink hanging out at Queen Surf. Today, he is the legendary Kumuhula Patrick Makua Kane of Nalehulu Ika Vekiu. Patrick, would you please join us? And thank you so much for being here today.
Wow, what a wonderful, enriching afternoon this is. And I'm going to add myself to the chorus of, like, these guys. I love these guys. Thank you so much for coming. You know, living in San Francisco, I'm like, you only got 4 people? God, we deserve at least 50. But we welcome you with aloha, and I mean that sincerely, because it reminds us of why we have to do these things. But in the end, just remember that love, acceptance always endures, right? So come and eat with us after. Hi, Jesus. Let's hang out. E o umau ki ai mai ka po mai, e na poe Māhū mai ka po mai, e nana mai ia kako, i ko kako hale, i ka hale a wahipana, ka wahipana Māhū, ka wahipana kaulana, Kia ia malama ia. Mai kahikihi a kahikihi. Mai luna a lalo. Mai kauka a ki kai. Mai loko a waho. Ai kia ia malama ia. Aloha ia. E pali aku I nā ho'opili kia ana I ko kako nohona. I ko kako nohona aloha. A mama ua noa. Yeah, you can clap. That's good. A little commemorative of aloha. This next chant that I'm going to do, I need your kokua. There's going to be a point where I will gesture to you and you will say the phrase Iola. Can you say that? Iola. Yeah, Mekalea nui. Iola. Mai kai. So Patrick will do chant, 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 and then he'll do Io. Okay, let's practice. Patrick, chant, 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 chant. Yay! Nice. Ai Waikīkī no na Pohaku loa. And this chant is dedicated to Kapai Māhū Ma, Kinohi Kapuni, and those incredible healers and prophets who came from Tahiti to Hawaii and set up this wonderful, miraculous healing journey for many Hawaiians, Native Hawaiians who lived here centuries ago. So we were here centuries ago when we claimed this space, and I think it's important, it's a privilege for me, to honor them and honor Waikīkī this way. A ole he tāne, a ole he wahine, he mau mahu lako, he mau mahu, he pālua no hoi, makana au a meka no a mena mana a pau. Ai a I Waikīkī noho na Pohaku loa ka pai mahu he na au mua e. Mai Tahiti hiki ia he vena iwa, ku I kalo no ka hana pono e. Iola, luhi loa ke kanaka I kai muki, lua hele I kola I ulu ko ue, ku kahaloa ka puni me kinohi, na mea ho'ola ka ola na ki e. Iola, he mau hiwa na tua, o ia mau, ka huna lapa au. Ua ona au me ka ike ku hohonu. He makana no nakanaka o ia pai aina e. Iola. Ai fuwana ia mai me ka heo. Ka pai mahu he na au mua e. Mai Tahiti hiki ia he vena iwa. Hui e kalo no ka hana pono e. Nā mahu hie ka pulapu I ola no amaloa e. Iola. Ola loa na. Mo'olelo ka pai mahu a mina mo'olelo o Queen Surf Beach no hoi. Aloha.